Welcome. This is the very first video of a series of tutorials I'm going to try to do. This is going to be a beginner's guide. This is going to be an overview of what to expect. I don't care who has told you that this is easy. There's nothing easy about getting started with AREDN. Now, it's especially hard for me because I don't know anything about computers. So I'm having to do like master's degree classes without second grade reading level. So even if you are a computer person, you're going to have an easier time, but it's still going to have some difficulties. So this video is primarily for people that we're recruiting to our area network in East Tennessee. But since there are so few videos online regarding AREDN stuff, I decided to just go ahead. It's going to be for our guys, but somebody out west, somebody up north, somebody down south might be able to benefit too. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to post this. I'm going to fit this in somehow. I tried to do it more in depth, but it just didn't work out. The format kept changing on me. It was ridiculous. So I just said, you know, people are just going to have to take notes. And you're going to need to take notes. So that's the first step is you're going to need to go get a pen, a pen and paper. I'm going to try to be as thorough as possible, but this is just an overview. This is going to be a roadmap. And several of these steps are going to have separate videos for them because they're very specific. So, oh, and also feel free to pause the video and rewind it, because if you have the same problem I do, I can't catch everything the first time. And a lot of times people talk real fast. Like, we know that you understand how to do it. You don't have to show us how fast you can say it. I'm going to try to go extremely slow. I'm going to try to say everything that needs to be said, no more or no less. But this is not a comprehensive guide. This is just an overview to get you ready for what to expect. So also, I encourage you to get your phone and take pictures of things. I can't tell you how many times I have thought I would remember something and didn't. But I had taken a picture, so I was able to go back and see what the information was I needed. I'm not a professional video maker. I debated up and down to whether to do these or not. I say, you know, having the information out there with poor quality video production is better than not having it out there at all. So I'm sorry, but that's just the way it's got to be, because I've got a lot of videos to make, and I don't have time to be learn how to be a professional videographer and editor. So I guess there's nothing else to do than just jump in there. Now, I'm working under the assumption that you have a computer, and hopefully Windows. This can probably be done with a Mac, and I know it can be done with Linux. I just don't know how to do it with either one of those. So these instructions are going to be for Windows users. If you're a Linux guy, you probably are not going to have a hard time with this, because you guys tend to be more advanced. This is for the layman, the guy like me who doesn't know the first thing about computers. I know a little bit now, but a few weeks ago I didn't. And I would still say I don't know much. So let's get started, because this is already probably taking too long. Step one, you're going to open an account on AREDNmesh.org. AREDNmesh.org. And you're going to find your area forum. I'll show you where it's at. So you're going to go to AREDNmesh.org, and you're going to go to the forums. I hope this shows up. And you're just going to scroll down. And you see the states, and they've got a lot of subgroups. So I'm in Tennessee, and I just today started our subgroup, East Tennessee Mesh Network. Okay, so if you're around East Tennessee, you're going to click on there and you're going to say, hey, my name's Bob. And we're going to touch base and we're going to make contact. If you're in Kentucky, do the same. I think you get the point. It's very important that you do that. Because, well, I should just hold this actually. It's very important you do that for this reason. The next step, which is step 2, you're going to go to the map. Okay, right down here. Click here to view the live map. And I'm going to pick, let's go to Oklahoma City. I don't know if there's anything there, but, whoa. Okay. As you'll notice, there's a key over here on the right. There is 900 megahertz and 3.4 gigahertz, but you primarily are going to be focusing on 5.8 and 2.4. So they've got a few nodes up. I don't know why it's acting up, of course, because I'm doing a video. Okay, let's say you're over here. This is where you live. You're going to look around and you're going to see, are these active nodes? So let's click on this guy. 3228. Okay, he's active. That has not been updated for over a year and a half. This one's updated. You can see here the last updated date, 322.8. That's the firmware version. And this guy is not. So we've got a decision to make. We've got a 2.4 gig. We know that because it's purple. And we've got an orange, which is 5.8 gig. So you're going to need to make a decision on which frequency you're going to be operating on. I think you can figure out just applying this concept. Okay, so here's another 5.8. So you're going to need to apply this concept to wherever you're at. If everybody around you has 5.8, then that is what you're going to buy. So that brings us to step 3. Using the guide that Andre has put together. Where is it? I'll show that too. I'll show you the guide. And I do encourage you to do this. For some reason, I'm sure there's a reason, but for some reason, a lot of this stuff is not in PDF form. I have made a lot of PDFs for my own personal benefit, and I actually need to ask them if I can give it to them to post. But as now, right now, there are not very many PDFs, and I don't know what the reasoning is. But just go ahead and screenshot it or take a picture with your phone. But you want to have this handy, and it's good to have a hard copy. So I also went to what was it called? It's the supported platform matrix, and it is a weird format. I had to take 4 pages and cut them up and fit them together like a puzzle. But it has absolutely been helpful. And this kind of tells you what has already been implemented. If you're a risk taker and you want to try something new, and you're a coder or you're a computer scientist, go ahead and try something that's not on this list. If you're like me and life is already complicated enough, and AREDN is even complicated in and of itself, and you would just rather stick with something that somebody else has used, do not get anything that's off this list. If it does not match up to the letter, don't get it. So let's look. I will show you on the website where this list is at. And I'm going to have to remember, actually. So that's where the supported platform matrix is. I'm trying to remember where the other one is. Well, I'll just show you the supported platform matrix. Oh, wait, this is a different one. Okay, this is the one that I was just talking about. You need to get this in your hands. Again, do not try something that's not on this list unless you're that kind of guy who just likes to make more trouble for yourself. So this is the primary one that you need. It's the supported platform matrix. You'll bear with me here. I'm going to catch up and see where I'm at. Okay. Step 3, which is what we're on, you're going to decide based on the map and talking to people in your group, your state, area, subgroup, what frequency are you guys using? Well, we just found out in Oklahoma City, if you live down there in the southeast, it looks like you're good to go with either one. But there are two 5.8 and one 2.4. You're going to have to make the decision. A lot of people go with both. I chose to go with both. Now you're gonna purchase these wherever you want to find them. I personally buy off eBay, but I'm kind of tired of eBay. If you have a good vendor that you trust, go for it. But eBay is sort of a crapshoot on whether you're going to get ripped off or get something junky. If you're on a really tight budget, buy used. I buy used all the time. But if you want to have as little problems, as few problems as possible, go with brand new. These are my very strong recommendations. Everybody needs at least one or two MikroTik HAP AC lights. You will find it on the matrix. If you want me to read it out to you, this is the model that you need. I'll just read it phonetically. Romeo Bravo 9er 52 Uniform India dash 5 Alpha Charlie 2. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. November Delta. So let me say it again. RB952 UI dash 5AC2ND. I apologize that I have the light dish and it sounded exactly like the same model as the light dish. The light dish is, well, here, I'll show you. I'm not going to be getting into this, but since I brought it up, this is an LDF. It takes a standard dish network or DirecTV dish and converts it to AREDN. It is awesome. It's one of the best options if you're in an HOA. And because you can't put up a bunch of antennas in HOAs, but you can have a dish, so that allows you to stealthily operate. Okay, I highly recommend a HAP AC light as your, actually I've got one right here. It's a little router, and man, this thing can do a lot. If you get this, you don't have to get a switch unless you're doing several nodes. These range from, I think I just bought a couple used ones for like 50-ish bucks each. You're going to spend a lot more if you buy them new, but I'm buying bulk because we're getting them for other people. And I'd rather have 10, I don't want to say so-so, but 10 used than 2 or 3 brand new in this circumstance. So I recommend a HAP AC light. I have here $80 or less for one. I would say get 2. I'm a very huge proponent of redundancy, and I like the saying that 3 is 2 or 2 is 1, 1 is none. I firmly believe that. And you need to get a radio for RF. Okay, this technically is a node, but it's like a house Wi-Fi router. What, 50 to 100 feet away? But that's going to be your gateway, your gateway from the RF world to the internet world. You need one. Just take my word for it. You can get all the other things you need or want. That's what I've gotten about every radio you can think of. As you can see, my kitchen is now a makeshift repository for pretty much every device you can think of. I'm exaggerating, but there are over 30 different nodes in my kitchen right now, and about 30 on the way. So we're we're taking this pretty seriously. And the radio, I recommend a Rocket. A Rocket with a sector. If you're going to buy it brand new, that's $200 or less. I just bought a lot of 20 for $450 delivered. You don't need that. Your needs are different. You can get a brand new Rocket for 100 and change. You can get a sector antenna. These two are sector antennas. The 2 gig is a little more expensive. I think used is at least 120. Well, you can get a brand new 5 gig Ubiquiti Air Max, I think, 90 or 120 for like $80 before tax and shipping. So that's going to be determined by your area. How far away are you from your neighbor? And is your neighbor up on a mountain, or is your neighbor on flat ground with an antenna barely poking over the horizon? If you've got to go real far distances, you need a dish. And I do recommend the LHG. That's the MikroTik LHG. Again, in 2 or 5 gig. I bought both. This is a Rocket dish. You more than likely don't need this. We're setting up backbone nodes, and this is what that is for. They're a 30 decibel 5.8 gig. And I don't want to say it's overkill, but it kind of is overkill if you're in a residential area or you're just trying to connect to your guy like 3 miles away. You don't want that dish. You want a sector antenna, because that sector antenna will still go 25 miles. Andre Hansen, the project manager with AREDN, has I think it is a 2.4, which is this. Right as we speak, hitting 25 miles away over in Southern California. Man, this video is already going too long, so let me speed up. Those are 3 I just recommend. The HAP AC Light, a Rocket, whether 2 or 5 is up to you or your surrounding area, and maybe a dish, a 2 or a 5, LHG. There are tons of other radios. Feel free to get whatever you want. Those are just 3 I recommend. You've got nano stations, TP links. You got bullets. Bullets are not generally recommended because it's non-MIMO, meaning there's only one something or another instead of 2. It's past my pay grade. I have a couple, but I bought them before I knew. And in this area, there's not that much AREDN. That's why I'm doing this. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. But if you're in an area where you need it, it's basically less throughput and less speed and all that. That was step 3. Also, remember to buy a PoE for your radio. There are different kinds. I actually just got these today. These are MikroTik. Here's a Ubiquiti. Here's another Ubiquiti. What they do is they take the Ethernet cable comes out of your computer or out of this HAP, and then this plugs into the wall, and then you don't have to run any more cables other than the PoE Ethernet cable. Runs from here. It could go 200 feet to your Rocket that's up on a tower, and it has the power and the data all in one. That was still a part of step 3. On step 4, you're going to need Ethernet cable. 5E or better. I recommend 4, and 2 to 3 of them should be short jumpers, like 5 to 3 feet, you know, around your workstation. And then you're going to need 1 or 2 long outdoor, possibly shielded. I've heard people say you need shielded. I've heard people say you don't. You're going to have to do your research on that, and that's your personal choice. On the backbone nodes and the ones that are going to be difficult places to get to, I'm going to buy shielded, because the extra little money is definitely worth getting to an area that's very difficult to climb a 150-foot tower. I'm just going to stack everything in my favor that I can control. But if you're running at your house, I really don't know. I don't know what's best for you. So I would get 4, 2 to 3 shorts, and 1 to 2 longs. If you've got 1 radio that's long, that's outside, you only need 1. But you definitely need 2 or 3 little short ones. Number 5, buy or configure a dumb switch. I have a TP-Link that I bought towards the end of when I was doing some flashing a couple years ago. But let me show you. And I'm sorry, I don't remember how to do it. I had to go online and figure out how to do it. But here's an old Linksys router. And I've got a Netgear over there. This is just your regular home Wi-Fi router. You can configure these to be a dumb switch. Okay? I don't remember how to do it. You're going to need that on several occasions. So configure one or buy one. I've got both. Okay, so you've ordered the stuff online, so now you're going to be waiting. In the meantime, you want to download the checklist. You're going to go back. You can do this all at once. This is how the checklist came. This how the cards fell. So you're going to go onto AREDN-mesh.org, and you're going to go find their checklists. You know, I think I know where they're at. I'm going to probably try to edit this crumminess out, but I've never done this before, so you have to bear with me. So I think it's, oh crap. Yeah, actually that's where I was supposed to go. So you're going to go to Docs, and it's how-to guides. All right. And for some reason it puts you in the middle, so you're going to have to go all the way to the top. And it is installing AREDN firmware. And you're going to scroll halfway down, and there you go. Depending on what you bought, which hopefully you took my advice and got the MikroTik hat, you're going to click on that. I recommend printing it out, having it in hand. Okay, this tells you step by step. And they say that the MikroTik is more difficult than the others. Maybe it's because I've had a high success rate, as in 100%, but I don't see it any more difficult than the others. Because I guess when you know nothing, you don't know what you don't know. And Ubiquiti, I've got a high failure rate. And the reason being is I've got a bunch of the older ones, the used ones. But I didn't know it at the time. And there's XM and XW. And the XMs are like low memory. And that causes a problem. So I've got 5 radios sitting in that bucket that I haven't been able to flash. And I have flashed dozens and dozens, and they just will not flash. So there's a method that some people have said in the forum works. I'm going to try it because I want to try to salvage the nodes, but I do not recommend getting an old used Ubiquiti. Like, I came that close to completely writing Ubiquiti off because I'm so angry. Frustrated more than angry. Yep. Another thing I did, here, I'll just show you here. That same page that I just showed you in Docs, how-to guides installing firmware. They don't have PDFs like this. I went by and I took screenshots and I assembled it on a Pages document on my work computer to make it like a PDF. And I saved it as a PDF so I can have it in hand. Okay, it's what's on the website, but they just don't have it available as a PDF. So I made one. I wish I could share this. I'm going to ask Randy, who's I think maybe the president now. He's high up. You know, hey, I made this PDF. Can I give it to you guys so other people can print it out instead of having to like do what I've done? The only reason I think he's going to say no is because these guys are like on top of things. I cannot believe for a second that they haven't thought about it. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it doesn't hurt to ask because they've been around since 2015, I think. It just surprises me that they don't have this in that format. I recommend go ahead, do what I did. Just it takes a long time. It's a pain, but you're going to have it forever. So you've got the checklist and the instructions. And there are a couple other. This is why I laugh when people say this is simple. It's not. There's nothing about this that's simple. This is a separate printout. I named it Flashing Old Ubiquities. It's on a different place on the AREDN website, talking about, I think it's from tips for flashing firmware. Well, that's how I'm going to try to deal with those old ones that didn't flash. If you're inclined, go ahead, copy, paste, and print it out. It's just more information. It's almost information overload. But with this, you're going to need it because it's very complicated. And again, I don't know why they have so many different instructions, but here's another instruction sheet. It's a very brief overview. Yeah, there's a special one for MikroTik. It's confusing to me. So that was 6. Get your documents, your downloads, download the PDF, have all your paperwork ready because you're still waiting on your stuff to arrive. Okay, this is where I messed up. All right, while you're in there, you're on the computer, download tiny, actually, I'm going to switch these around actually. Since you're already on the ardenmesh.org website, download the correct firmware, and I will show you how to do that. Okay. So you're in here printing off your lists, you're copying, you're doing your screenshots and whatever. You're done. The printer's off, or the printer's done. You're done with this task. You're going to go back to the home page, and it's software, download, Let's say you took my advice and you got the HAP AC Lite. So you're going to download that. I don't need to, but I will anyway, just to show you. Boom. And the system upgrade, sys upgrade, download that as well. Okay. I started a folder. I highly recommend you keep your stuff partitioned off. You need to have it organized. So we just downloaded the HAP AC Lite. This is in my MikroTik folder, firmware, HAP AC Lite. There it is, factory and sys upgrade. This RB, I will explain in another video why I do that. Your radios are still in the mail, but you are doing the work now. So when they arrive, you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. Now you're done with the AREDN website for a little bit. You're going to download Tiny PXE if you have the MikroTik or the TP-Link. I think there are other, I'm actually positive, there are other PXE, I don't know if they're called servers, but you can go on the website and in the instructions, you'll scroll down and it will give you links to where the tiny PXE is. Again, that's going to be in a separate video, how to use it, but that is basically the tool that you use to get the firmware that we just downloaded. You're going to use tiny PXE to get the factory firmware from your computer written onto your MikroTik or your TP-Link. I'm pretty sure TP-Link is included in that. I've never done anything with TP-Link, but I'm almost positive it's the same method. If you've got a Ubiquiti, you're going to download, I recommend download both of these because, like I said, I've had a lot of problems. Sometimes it would work with one, again, I don't know, I'll just call it a program. Pumpkin and TFTP64. They're programs that do the same thing as TinyPXE. It's just a completely different method. It takes that file that we just downloaded and puts it onto your device. I recommend both of them. And also, I don't know much about this, so I didn't really want to go into it, but I think some computers come with the native TFTP. I think it's kind of like the terminal, but I'm not qualified to really go into it. I do remember using it a few years ago, but again, it's just a very vague memory. I will do more harm than good by trying to explain it. You can figure out how to look up TFTP, and I think it's server. Well, I think I'm about to confuse everybody. I'll just stop. You need to get Pumpkin and TFTP64 downloaded onto your computer. Okay, your mail arrived. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on that. Okay, the UPS arrived, and you've got your HAP. Actually, we'll just stick with the HAP for now. You've got the HAP, and you've got everything that we've gone over squared away. Shut off your Wi-Fi, disconnect anything else that's on it, close all your windows out, and we're about to flash the node. What the flash does is it takes the native firmware, removes it, and puts that image that we just talked about, the software / firmware that we downloaded, a few days ago. A few days have gone by, your package got here, and now you're ready to flash the node and turn it into an AREDN node. Turn your Wi-Fi off, close everything, and I'm going to go into detail on another video about the specifics of flashing, but that's what we're doing now. So at this point, we're going to flash the node with the firmware using the factory file, not the sys upgrade. Do not touch the sys upgrade, just do the factory file. We're assuming that went well. After that, you're going to configure the node. This is step 10. Sorry, I forgot to do the numbers. I apologize. But this is the 10th step. 9 was flash the firmware. 8 was download the TinyPXE and the Pumpkin. 7 was download the firmware. 6 was download the checklist and the instructions with the screenshots. And 5, I think I did mention, was buy or configure the dumb switch, since we're already this far. 4 was buy the Ethernet cords. 3 is buy the radio, the HAP AC Lite, or Rocket, or both. 2 is go to the map and see what's in your area. And 1 was create an ardenmesh.org account. So we are 9, we flashed the firmware. 10, it went well, and we now configure it. And you really can't have a gap. You need to do them together, but in line. After you flash the firmware, it goes right into the configuration. Those are going to be 2 separate videos because they need to be. So after we configure the node in a separate video, you're ready to assemble the station. You're done with the hard part. So you're going to take your computer and plug your HAP into it via a switch. I recommend a switch. I know there's ways to do it without, but I'm telling you what has worked. You can take that same dumb switch from earlier, plug it in, and then from that, you're going to plug it into the HAP. And then from the HAP, on the number 5 port, you're going to hook up your rocket that's sitting outside on your roof, or wherever you put it. That's step 11. Step 12. Yeah. Step 12 is you're going to connect to the mesh via RF. If your configuration is correct and you're correctly pointed towards the neighboring node, they will automatically connect. And I've done countless experiments here with the antennas that I have, and they do. It takes a little minute. You don't want to rush them. Like if it takes 10 minutes, don't worry about it. They're talking to each other with their OLSR, which is like the brains of the system that organizes everything. But that's the last step. You're in the mesh now. You can technically be in a few steps back, but there's not a whole lot of benefit of being on AREDN if you're not on RF, because you're just, like I say, you're just a partitioned off connection to the internet, and that's not the spirit of AREDN. Yeah, if that's all you got, go for it, but you need to have a long-term goal of being RF connected. Even if you're just you and the 2 other guys in your town, that's good. That's your starting. Because you'd be surprised how many people will start coming on board when they hear that 2 or 3 guys are RF and wow, they're 7 miles away. I can hit him with that dish or that sector. So I'm sorry about this being so discombobulated and all over the place. Hopefully it helps. My philosophy was I watched every video you can find on AREDN. And a lot of them, they just aren't very good, but I got that one thing that I was looking for, or that I didn't even know I was looking for. So hopefully that this video just gives you a broad overview of, okay, this is a bird's eye view of the process. Some of these steps are going to have separate videos. The configuration, the mesh, the flash, because each radio is different. Each brand of radio is different. And there's, I think, only 4. But everybody should have a HAP. That if you don't have the HAP and you have another radio, you have to go get a Netgear switch or a Ubiquiti edge router. And if you're wanting to hook in IP phones, this thing allows you to connect everything in one place. And you can run PoE out. Just, there is no good reason not to get a HAP. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. There are other channels out there that have some tutorial type videos. I'm not going to name off all of them, but the ones that come to mind, I would say Radio Geek is one of the best ones. He's real concise. He's smart. He messes up some words, but I just pick on him and give him a hard time over it. Not personally, just whatever. I make fun of him in my head when he says ubiquity or root instead of root, you know. Ham Radio 2.0 has a few good ones. I want to say KM4 ACK or something like that. He's in Tennessee. He's a pretty big channel that does a lot of Raspberry Pi stuff. I'm pretty sure he has a few AREDN videos. And I'd like to advertise ham radio crash course, but I think he only has one video. But check him out anyway. He's got really good content. See, he's the good level. He's the high level stuff that I'll never be that highly produced. I don't think I have anything else. I mean, I do, but not for this video. It's already been 40 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to even put this out, quite honestly. That's too long for an introduction. I was trying to do short tutorial videos, and then I was going to have long videos. And this was supposed to be a short one. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm not sure I can cut this any shorter. Well, that's part of the learning experience, I guess. So I may or may not put this out, so I might just be talking to myself. I don't have a tagline yet. I have a funny one for the story videos I'm doing, and it's making fun of people who say 73s, as I over-accentuate it. So I'll say it here, fine. I just hope nobody, actually I don't care, it'd be funnier if they think I'm serious. Until then, 73s! I thought about it for a second. I am going to put this video out. I tried to simplify everything I possibly can. This can't be more simplified. It really can't. It's just complicated. So I'm going to put this out there. It takes that long to explain it because it's just that in-depth. And this isn't even specific. There are some specifics in here, but it's not really. That makes no sense what I just said. I dropped accidentally a couple specifics, but that's not the purpose of this. But you will do everything that's in here, and you need to know everything that's in here. You can't skip any steps in this process. So it's a long video, but this is a complicated process. Could it be done shorter? Yes, but this is what I've got. So I will put it out. I'll try to edit as much as I possibly can, maybe get it down a few minutes, but all this needs to be covered. It's a comprehensive overview of configuring a node and becoming a part of the AREDN mesh network from nothing. All right, I'll see you guys out there.